Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Wan here, your buddy, your playground guide with the Fun Life community, powered by the Zig Ziglar. Powered by the Zig Ziglar Legacy Certification Program and the foundational program of Choose to Win. And we started this surprise Saturday speaker a few weeks back, and you guys know Tom Ziglar kicked it off, and I think that video's now gone on to have over 4,000 views, which, you know, we got clients out of it. We got new kids come in. We got new cool kids come into the into the Fun Life community. And then we also had Julie Ziglar on here. We've had Jacob Salem. We've had, Dr. Nate Hearn. We've had a lot of really incredible people. Travis White from right here in the Tyler community came on here. And the goal of having this surprise Saturday guest speaker is to just help you guys to be able to think outside the box. To really, the whole thing started from a Choose to Win mastermind group where Kenneth O'Neill shared with the group about being more, do more, and have more be more, do more, have more in 2024. I basically took it and just added on to it, be more, do more, and have more so that we can give more, so that we can help more, so that we can serve more. And actually, that's one of the cool things about what we do here in the Fun Life community is that we're able to just help you serve more, to give more, and all of these things come together collectively, right? They say that a rising tide lifts all boats. Guys, listen really fast. I'm super excited about my guest. He's fixing to come on here a little bit, and we'll bring him onto the camera. And hang on just a second. Give me a second. Okay, so what we're doing, guys, is I call him Mr. Phenomenal, but he's written several books. The one that we're going to be talking about today specifically is The Power of Community. Okay, and so The Power of Community, but he also wrote other books like Phenomenal Love. The one that I actually got started with was the 5 secrets of a phenomenal business. He went on to write the 7 secrets of a phenomenal life. Failure to implement. Matter of fact, I've got that one. I've got that one right here. Right, failure to implement. So there's a lot of books that he's written, but he's also written another one called Phenomenal Youth. And so I'm gonna see if I can bring him on here right now, guys, for you. Actually, he's actually clicking on. He just texted me. He's on the page now, so we'll make sure to get him on. But here's the thing, guys. In this Power of Community that he wrote, it's so packed full. It really, and I'll let him kind of explain. It's really more of a standard operating procedure manual. That's probably realistically the way it should be looked at, because there's so much content, so much value in the information that he's going to share with you guys. So it's right almost at the top of the hour. Let me see if I see him on here. Let's see. He's on there. I think he's on there. All right. You know what? Let me see if I can, Howard. Let me see if I can pull you up here really fast. Just make sure to click on the actual video. That way, it'll let me know you're on, not just on the screen, not just on the feed, but also click on the actual video, so it'll kind of come up to your main screen, and then I should be able to pull you up here. I see you, Miss Peggy, Miss Esmeralda. Thank you, guys. you guys are always out here. I appreciate you guys. So once Howard clicks on there, let me see if he's on here now. Okay, I see Miss Peggy. I see Miss Esmeralda. I see you guys on here. Let me double check with Howard. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, this happened with Mr. Bob Berg on there. So let me know if you don't see that video. You know what? Let me see if I can click one more spot here. Oh, there he is. Perfect. There we go. And 3, 2, 1, we're adding Mr. Phenomenal. No one else than the man himself, Howard Partridge. Howard, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Man, I am super, super excited to have you on here. And really fast, I was just about to get into your bio because literally every time I've heard you speak, every time I've heard you talk about, it's an incredible story of where you came from to where you are now. I mean, who starts a business out of the trunk of their car, and then who who does it into the $1 million mark, and then who converts that into a multi-million-dollar mark? But this man right here. So guys, get your pen and paper handy. You're gonna want, I call them writer downers, Howard. You're gonna do some writer downers, but just share with the people a little bit about yourself, kind of what you do, and I'll just turn this over to you because they're probably tired of hearing me speak. So go ahead.
Good. Well, my story is I'm originally from LA, Lower Alabama, and my wife doesn't laugh at my jokes either. By the way, good, phenomenal Saturday morning to everybody. It's a beautiful day here in the Houston area. Gorgeous outside. I've been awake since 3 and up since 4 because I'm so excited every day about just everything that I'm working on. I can't sleep. I probably drink too much coffee also. I mean, it's just probably the truth. But yeah, so I actually grew up very poor. I grew up on welfare in Mobile, Alabama. There were 7 kids crammed in a little 600 square foot shack, and the roof on that house was so bad that every time it rained, we had to get out all the pots and pans to catch the leaks. My mother fed us on $100 a month from the welfare department. I don't care when that was, just wasn't a lot of money. And when you grow up in an environment like that, what are you likely to turn out like? Well, for me, rebellious teenager, I got in a fight with my stepdad. My real dad left when I was a year old. I only met him twice in my whole life. And in fact, the first time I saw my real dad, I was about 5 years old. It was at my grandfather's funeral, and this limo passes by, and somebody said, "There's your father." And I looked up, and I saw this man looking out the back window of the limo. And when he saw us, he just kind of put his handkerchief over his face like that. That was the image I had of my father. And the only thing I knew about my dad up until the time I was 15 years old was that I looked just like him, I acted just like him, and he was not a very good guy. Well, my mother ended up getting married 2 more times. I got in a fight with my stepdad, and my real dad had come to visit, and I met him once when I was 15, again when I was 17, and my sister was here in Houston visiting him and his new wife. And so I got on a Greyhound bus, and I came to Houston, Texas when I got kicked out of the house to live with my real dad that I met only twice in my whole life. And so we became very close. He came to know the Lord on his deathbed through a series of miracles. It's just amazing. And when I got here to Houston, I became a waiter, and I worked in these really high-end restaurants, wore a tuxedo to work. We did Steak Diane, Bananas Foster, Cherry Souffle, and setting stuff on fire inside at that age was pretty cool, let me tell you.
I bet.
But I always wanted to have my own business, but I didn't have any money to speak of. Then I met my wife, Denise Conjette Antoinette Pinella. Now that's Italian. She's from New Jersey, and I'm from where? Lower Alabama. This is going to be a good match. So she told me to keep my mouth shut because I had an accent. Well, so I go to New Jersey, get married into this Italian family. And when you marry an Italian family, you don't get wedding presents, you get cash. And in fact, there's a special purse that's about the size of an envelope, or it's sized to fit envelopes in there, that's made to match the dress, same material and everything. And so the relatives come, they give you an envelope with, cash in it. And we counted up all that money after our wedding and totaled up to $3,000, most money that we had, to that point. And there was a friend of the family, same age as me, 23 years old. he's tooling around a little red Mercedes. And I said, I want to know what that guy does, and I want to know if it's legal. Well, it turns out that he had his own business. So I get back to Houston after our wedding, and I spend the entire $3,000 starting my first business out of the trunk of my car. I just want to work for myself. And so over the next 13 years, I became a slave to that business. I worked 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it was in 1997 that I learned what I call the secrets of a phenomenal business, which is the system. Michael Gerber, my friend Michael Gerber, says that the secret of a business is the system. And so I got back to, yes, sir, that book changed my life. Michael is actually a neighbor of mine now. I don't know if you know that or not, but he moved to Katy. He lives 15 minutes from me. He spoke at one of my recent conferences. We're actually doing a program with him right now, and called In the Dreaming Room. But anyway, so I started that business, learned how to scale it up, build systems. People want to know how I was doing it. So I started training people on my systems. And that turned into a phenomenally successful business training company, coaching company. And in 2007, I guess it was, I met Zig Ziglar, I think about 2005, something like that. Anyway, I had Zig come and speak at my conference, and I met Tom and Julie. And shortly after that, the Ziglars asked me to partner with them on business coaching. So my company became the exclusive small business coaching company for the Zig Ziglar Corporation. And so for the last 25 years, I've been helping small business owners stop being a slave to their business like I was, to transform it into a predictable, profitable turnkey operation so they can have more freedom with their family. And what happened that I didn't anticipate is that through the community that we built, marriages have been saved, lives have been literally saved. Young people are getting the Ziglar philosophy. And so part of my personal mission is to share the philosophy of Mr. Ziglar. And everything that we do in our business coaching is based on the Ziglar philosophy. And of course, what you know and what many people probably know, some people maybe listen to this don't know, is that Mr. Ziglar's most famous quote and his favorite quote till the day he passed away, November 28, 2012, is this. It's a life-changing quote. This quote, yeah, write this down, because, and you got to get it right, because a lot of people quote this, but they don't get it right. This is the greatest leadership quote that you could know. It's the best success quote that you could know about. And it is this: you can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what it is that they want. That's marketing. That's sales. That's leadership. That's success. Now, I used to tell Mr. Ziglar when he was here with us on earth, I don't say when he was alive, because he's more alive today than ever before, because he's with Jesus. He's in heaven, you know. And but I tell people that I told him when he was with us, I told him that, you stole that from Jesus, because Jesus said, give, it'll be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, right? And he goes, oh, that's okay, because I know him personally. And now he's with him today. But I want to break that quote down, because it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what kind of goals you have. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. It doesn't matter what kind of business you have. This quote, everybody wants the same 9 things out of life. Mr. Ziglar said everybody wants the same 9 things out of life. Now, I know that some of our some of our Ziegler trainers teach 8 things, and that's still in our curriculum, but it's actually 9. Because if you read Mr. Ziegler's book, A View from the Top, he says there's 9 things. So everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to be healthy. Everybody wants to be at least reasonably prosperous. Everybody wants to have friends. Everyone wants to have peace of mind. They want to have good family relationships. They want to feel secure. They want to have hope for the future. And I love the 9th one, because the 9th one sums everything up. Everyone wants to love and be loved, period. God is love. And
Yes.
so the simple solution to life is love. Love, that's it. When you love people and you understand what love is, that's the other thing. It's not a mushy-gushy feeling. You know, sometimes you got to love people that you don't even like. Johnny's eyes go. So let's break this down. You can have everything, all 9 of those things, and everybody wants all 9 of those things. You can have all 9 of those things if you'll just help enough other people. So there's a couple of key words in here, if you will. So that's intentionality. That's being focused on, that's being willing to help other people, willing to adopt and accept this process. You know, I've written, I'm about to publish my 13th book, and I wrote a book for another guy, multimillionaire. The book that I'm writing that I just finished, it'll be out here. It's at the publisher. It's going to be printed next month. It's called How to Build a Phenomenal Dream Team That'll Run Your Business for You. And so anyway, I wrote another book for someone else. I compiled his writings, and his name is Russell Ibarra. He owns all the Gringos restaurants here in the Houston area, 28 restaurants. Phenomenal human being. One of the biggest givers, one of the most generous people that I know. And as I was working on the book, we would have lunch from time to time. And I quoted Zig, and I thought, well, he would just go, yeah, that's it. Like, you know, yes. So I made that quote. I said, you know, Zig said you can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what it is that they want. And he goes, unless that's why you're doing it. And I went, mic drop. But then I got thinking about it, that when you plant and water and nurture, the soil doesn't care why you're doing it. All the soil cares about is that, oh, I got a seed in the ground. It's my job to nurture that seed. As long as I get the water, I get the sunlight, I get the nutrients that I need, then that seed's going to grow. But the difference is that when you finally realize that it's not a strategy, it's a way of life, and that you're committed to it because it's just the right thing to do, then not only do you get the reward, but you also get the fulfillment of giving. And so you get the fulfillment of loving. And the challenge is with human beings that sometimes people are going to take advantage of you. I just wrote this book called How to Build a Phenomenal Dream Team who will run your business for you. And, you know, the truth is that I've had many people. I've been in business. This year, I'll be in business for 40 years. I started that business out of the trunk of my car 39 years ago. Listen, in the early days, when I didn't have my leadership act together, I didn't hire the right people. I had people steal from me. I had people do side jobs. I had people steal checks out of my checkbook. I had people go into business against me and take my best customer. I had people who didn't show up, people who lied. And so you would think, like a lot of people, that, man, I ain't going to hire anybody. I'm going to just do it all myself. But I didn't do that. Instead, I decided to learn leadership. And when you understand leadership, you understand how to treat other people. I was not a good leader. And so when you learn how to treat other people, you learn how to coach people, how to find them, how to hire them, how to attract them, how to pay them properly, how to train them, how to coach them, how to develop them, and how to sustain that team. You're talking about my book, The Power of Community. That's my leadership book. Every human being on planet Earth has a longing for belonging. They want to feel valued. They want to be accepted. They want to feel important. And they are. See, that's the thing, is that the very first step in leadership is valuing people for who they are. Mr. Ziegler said that that you're born to win. You're designed for accomplishment. You're engineered for success. You're endowed with the seeds of greatness. See, when you value people, you're going to care for people. And when you care for people, they're going to respond, unless you have the wrong person. So part of it is recognizing and beginning to recognize gifts in other people. I have the best team members. I have about 50 people who work with me. I have people who volunteer because of the work that we do is so impactful in other people's lives. And so if you will just focus on helping other people. Now, you can't make anybody happy, but you can hire happy people. You can attract happy people by being happy. That's one of the things. I just hired someone less than 2 weeks ago. She's just a phenomenal human being. And she told me, she said, one thing I like about you is that you're always happy, you know. And Mr. Ziegler said a smile is something that you can give away and still keep for yourself, right? And so being kind to people, see the Bible, Tom Ziegler wrote a book called The 10 Leadership Virtues for Disruptive Times. Those 10 virtues come from the love chapter in the Bible. Love is kind, love is patient, love is kind, love is long-suffering. So be patient with people, be kind to people, be generous to people, and you're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract people who want to be happy, who, you know, and can we encourage other people to be happy, be healthy? Yes. Now, that's one of the areas that I struggle with, is I like to eat, brother. Me and you, Chief, we can have a meal together, brother. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, that's something I struggle with. And so people want to be prosperous. Can you help other people make money? Yes. Can you help them be prosperous? Yes. Can you help them have friends? One of the things at this point in time in my life, having built, you know, multi-million-dollar businesses and help people in 100 different industries in 20 different countries build their businesses, and working with some of the top, you know, business trainers and leaders in the world. Now I get the opportunity to just connect people, right? So I can just introduce people and I can get them connected, and then they help each other and they appreciate the fact that I made that connection, right? And so we can help people have more friends. We can help people be better family members, but we got to be a good family member. You know, I can't change anybody. I can't change my wife. I can't change my son. I can't change anybody, but I can change me. And if I change, then the other people, the other person in that relationship now has an open door. And again, if they want that, then they'll change too. But if I'm not willing to change, they're not going to change. I have to be the first one. You have to go first, right? And so, so all those things we can help other people with. And if our focus is on helping people, then all the rest of that stuff will come. Just like Jesus said, give and it'll be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And where that term came from, by the way, is when you went to the market, and you got grain, you know, one vendor just, you know, like pour it in there and that's it. But a good vendor will have you shake it up, you know, and keep filling it up until, you know, you get all that you can get in there, right? Press down, shaking together, and running over. Okay, they're giving over and above. When you give over and above, it's going to come back to you over and above. That's what I call a phenomenal life.
And Howard, just really fast,
yeah.
I just shared that with one of my coaching clients that were going. She's a real estate agent, a recruiter, an incredible individual. She's phenomenal, really is. And we were talking about that very thing about giving and giving and giving. And when you really break that thing down, when it talks about that running over, that's where my goal is to help everyone that we come in contact with is to live in that perpetual overflow of God's goodness, of God's grace, of God's mercy, of God's blessings. And you just keep giving, and you cannot outgive God.
Amen. Amen. So something that's a little weird about me, you know, my siblings, I've always been a little different. Okay. And so my brothers and sisters, my first name is Howard, of course. And so growing up, they called me How Weird because I was just always a little different, right? I've always thought different. I've always said, no, we can do this. We can do this. I'm not going with the flow. I'm always going against the grain. And one thing that's weird about me is I like really dumb movies, like dumb movies. Okay. So there's this movie called Gone Fishing with Joe Pesci and Danny Glover, right? Dumb. But anyway, without telling about the whole story in the movie, I happen to think of it because last night I've been on this whirlwind trip. I met President Trump last week in West Palm Beach, and then I went to Nashville to be with Donald Miller, and then went to Dallas at this big event where Mark Cuban was speaking. And so I've been on this whirlwind trip, right? And so last night I was just kind of like, I need to watch something that doesn't make me think, that just like help me fall asleep good, right? So I put this movie on. I'd seen it many times before. And these two boys grew up always getting in trouble, right? Always getting in trouble. And they had this saying, say, Gus, that was a 10. And then the other one said, no, that's 10 plus. And then they both said at the same time, borderline 11. Okay. So a phenomenal life. And, you know, in Ziegler, you use this in your coaching, the wheel of life, right? So there's a scale on the wheel of life, 1 to 10, 1 being poor, 10 being phenomenal. And when you put God in the center, he'll color outside the line. So that's a 10 plus or borderline 11, right? So when you practice, believe and practice, believe and implement. I wrote a book called Failure to Implement. We know things, but we just don't implement them. And the reason is we don't believe. Okay. So when you believe, Mr. Ziegler said you got to be before you can do, you got to do before you can have. We go try to do stuff without preparing ourselves. See, Mr. Ziegler said you're born to win, but in order to be the winner you're born to be, you got to plan to win and prepare to win. So you got to think first, then you got to be before you can do. And then when you do, you're going to have. And as Mr. Tom Ziegler said, when you have, then you can give. I can't give something that I don't have, right? So I like to tell people, I like to have the phenomenal talk with them. See, I named my company when I started training, and I really wasn't doing coaching. I was really just doing teaching. Really, I was just teaching my business systems that I had developed. And so I called it Phenomenal Products because I had manuals. Then eventually I had CDs and DVDs and things like that. And I started doing some training and all that. I didn't really call it coaching, really didn't do coaching back then. And so once we started doing more and more training and coaching, we really don't sell products other than books. I thought, well, maybe naming my company Phenomenal Products was a mistake. And then I had my early mentor come and speak at my conference. He was my pastor, one of my pastors years ago, and just was very influential in my life. Wisest man that I know. And he came and spoke at my conference. He said, you know, Howard's products are phenomenal, but I'm here to tell you that you are the phenomenal product, created to be phenomenal, to do phenomenal things, and to have a phenomenal life. So everywhere I go, people ask me how I'm doing. What am I going to say?
BTP.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Better than phenomenal. You're in the advanced program. I'm trying to give them, phenomenal 101. Johnny's taking you to better than phenomenal. So we'll get to that. Okay. But I start out just sharing with people that, people ask me how I'm doing. I say phenomenal. And then I say, and so are you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. And then I say, did you know that you're phenomenal? Well, I don't know. Some people go, well, yeah. Other people go, I don't know about that. Some people like, what do you mean? And here's what I tell them. And here's what I'm telling those people who are listening today. You are phenomenal because God made you that way. See, God don't make no junk. Mr. Ziegler said you're born to win, designed for accomplishment, engineered for success, endowed with seeds of greatness. After all, God don't make no junk. Human beings are phenomenal creations. We didn't evolve. We were created. We're not like animals that, we have a mind. See, the difference between humans and animals is we have a creative mind, we have a conscious, and we have a spirit that God can inhabit if we allow him to. And then he can live through us, right? So it's like, okay, phenomenal products was not a mistake because every human being is a phenomenal product. The problem is they don't know it and they don't know how to live it. So now that you know that you're phenomenal, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, as the Bible says, you're a phenomenal human being. You're a phenomenal creation, okay, inside. Now, outside, as Darren Hardy said, I had Darren Hardy speak at one of my conferences. He said, every human being is flawsome. We're awesome, but we're also a little bit flawed. So in the flesh, we're flawed, okay? Inside, how we're made, we're awesome, okay? And so being phenomenal has nothing to do with the exterior, but has everything to do with the interior, okay? So things happen, right? We had this thing called a pandemic not too long ago, okay? You have accidents, you have weather, you have people get sick, people die. All these things happen around you, but that's external. So the key is live out of your position instead of your condition.
Ooh.
Live out of your position instead of your condition. See, your position is you're phenomenal. Now, there's another step. We're created to be phenomenal. You're born to win. But my belief is that we got to know God. We got to know Christ in order to become the person that we're born to be. All right. And so live out of that position. Live out of who you really are, who you're becoming, not what's going on around you. I grew up on welfare. Even when I started making money, I made bad decisions, got my company in all kinds of debt, and I had to go fix that problem, right? So you're going to fail, but you're going to fail less when you understand who you are and you decide to start becoming the person that you're created to be. Because you're not going to be able to do the things that you need to do and have the life that you're supposed to have and give to other people, I might add. Thank you, Tom Ziegler. If you don't understand who you are and whose you are, as Mr. Ziegler said.
Yes.
Yes or yes?
Yes.
Or yes and yes?
Yes and yes.
There we go. All right, so this whole BTP thing. So I start working with Ziegler, and we got a little bit of a branding problem, right? Because you ask me how I'm doing, and I say phenomenal. And you ask Zig how he was doing when he was here with us on Earth, and he'd say better than good. So I'm like, okay, are we going to go with phenomenal? Or are we going to go with better than good? So here's what we came up with. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Better than phenomenal. Okay. And then, so I started sharing that, and my wonderful, phenomenal, over-the-top community of business owners, they start saying BTP. I'm like, well, what does that mean? They're like, better than phenomenal. I was like, oh, I like it. But I can't let them, top me, right? So people ask me how I'm doing. I said, BTP OTT. They're like, what is that? I said, that's better than phenomenal, over the top. Okay. Listen, think about this. If the God of creation that created everything that we see is inside of you, you're pretty much better than phenomenal, over the top. But we somehow forget that. We live out of the flesh instead of by the spirit. We live out of our condition rather than our position. So listen, I decided that we can't stop there. So
Next level.
Level up. BTP, OTT, WCEB, LTD, OTC, OTP. That's better than phenomenal, over the top. Who could ever believe? Living the dream, off the charts, off the planet. So during speaking of the pandemic, during the pandemic, we had to do all of our conferences virtually. And so the kids are home, and we had our Destin Dream Retreat, beach retreat. We had to do it online. So some people came to Destin anyway and just stayed in different, hotels and whatever. And so I did it live. And so we always have like sandcastle building contests, and we teach the kids the Ziegler philosophy and all that. We have youth down there and family and everything. So everybody's got their family there. And there's a spunky little girl. Her name was Olivia. And so my phenomenal youth book that you mentioned is right there in the middle at the top right there. Phenomenal Youth. I said, well, listen, I'm gonna sign a book for you and your sister. And so I started to sign it. She goes, you know how to spell my name? She's 9 years old. I said, Libya, right? Like, oh, and she said, okay. ALIVE. Olivia. Alive. That's how she spells her name. I was like, awesome. So she's writing down everything that I'm saying. I got it in my file somewhere. I mean, like literally she's drawing stuff out, and her dad is taking pictures of it, sent it in. So she says, Mr. Phenomenal, I just sent you something. I said, okay, what you got? So I look at it, it says BTP, OTT, WCEB, LTD, OTC, OTP, COG. I'm like, all right, I got better than phenomenal, over the top. Who could ever believe? Living the dream, off the charts, off the planet. But COG, child of God. Woo! Showed up by a 9-year-old. Showed up by a 9-year-old. I was like, Mike, job, you got it. I ain't adding anything to that because you don't need to add anything to it.
No, that's said and done.
Fact, you could just put COG on the front side
and
because you're a COG, you're BTP OTT. Anyway, so I just want to tell the audience, always remember who you are and who you are. You are phenomenal. God don't make no junk. You can do anything you want to do, but the best way to live life is do what God's called you to do. And so he's called me to this. I love small business. I love personal development. I love helping people. I love watching people grow. I've been blessed to, be financially blessed. And so I don't do it for the money. I do it because I'm called to do it. And it just blesses my soul, blesses me when people grow their business. Okay. Like that's awesome. They get turnkey. They're spending more time with their kids. They're making money, going on vacation. But the personal side, when they get those personal breakthroughs, when they come to know the Lord because of our community, when they decide not to commit suicide because there's hope.
Yes.
That right there. That is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I love what I do. I love to write. I love to plan. I'm excited about, I love to go to these conferences. I love to speak at these conferences. I love doing all that stuff. But the reason that I do it, and the thing that I'd like to ask everyone listening here, is to think about, why do you do what you do? Maybe there's something else that you're supposed to do that'll make a difference in people's lives. Find your purpose. Find your why. Is that okay?
Boss, Chief. Wow. I mean, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I've taken, TZ says, if you steal it from me, you've stolen it twice. I stole something from you that I heard a long time ago, and that's basically where my Fun Life community came from, which fun is finding your niche here in East Texas. Your is you are.
Yeah.
Life, living in freedom every day.
Yes.
And when you have that Spirit of God living inside of you, it didn't say that no weapon would be formed against you. It said that it just wouldn't prosper.
Right. So good. That's so good.
And so
that's so good.
And that's what I love.
It can't prosper. It can't prosper if it can only prosper if you let it prosper.
Right. Right. And if God is for you, who could be against you? This wasn't the route that I wanted to go, but man, you bring this out of me, Howard. This right here, the COG, the child of God. That's why we do what we do, because my goal in the Fun Life community, if I was to strip everything and get to the core of the onion, is to have you increase your faith to the level of belief that you can charge the gates of hell with a half-loaded water pistol.
All right, so let's plus it up a little bit. I love to plus stuff up. You ready?
Let's do it.
The Phenomenal Life community, FUNOM, Phenomenal Life, living in faith every day.
Woo! Baby! Woo!
I love that we're over here. We're over here just brainstorming in front of the whole world,
Hey, Howard, there's no telling what's going to come out of this, man. I tell you, whenever it's that synergy, right? That if 1,000 can put if one could put 1,000 to flight, it's that exponential. Yeah. 1 plus God is all you need.
That's it. Yeah.
And man,
I've enjoyed it. I want to share this on my page.
I didn't even get to this part of it, but this part right here, on the Ziegler Wheel of Life, I added the 8th spoke in its community, whether it's church, whether it's your business, whether it's your family, whatever it is, because this really could be a standard operating procedure for how you do life, how you do business, how you do fun, really.
Yeah.
And I stole it from Dale Carnegie, who said people rarely succeed at anything unless they have fun doing it. And Dale Carnegie was, he did pretty good, right?
Yeah, he was the man. Yeah. So I was just thinking about him this morning. I was like, he was right. Like, he was right. So, yeah, so I had fun with this. And, I know that if people just adopt the Ziegler philosophy, they're going to be, I know it. I've seen too many people, their lives, including mine, have been changed by the philosophy. And he never kept it a secret. He said, I'm going to tell you exactly where I get all my material from.
It's that heavenly download, right?
That's it.
Howard, thank you so much. I mean, we could probably go on forever, but I'm very respectful of your time. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you so much. We'll definitely see you at the next conference or somewhere online. Keep doing big things. And there's just no telling, right? You hang out with the likes of Andy Andrews. You talked about Donald Miller, Darren Hardy. I mean, you're like the who's who, right? Bob Bodine, Tom Ziegler, Julie Ziegler, Cindy. I know you're watching. Get ready. You're going to get that. You're going to get that.
I just saw Cindy the other day. I was in Dallas. What's today? Saturday, Thursday. So Tom and her and Lori came over, and Michelle Prince came over, and
Yeah.
one of the speakers at the last Ziegler Coach Summit, her name is Renee
Oh,
Marino, and
yeah.
she's just phenomenal. So I got her on the stage over there for this conference. 5,000 people, 5,000, and she rocked it, you know. So listen, I don't need to be famous. I don't even need to know all these people. All I care about is that I help people, because I know that the philosophy is true. It's true. It works. You really can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what it is that they want. You don't have enough friends, you just haven't helped enough people yet. You don't have enough team members, you just haven't helped enough team members yet. You don't have enough clients, you just haven't helped enough people yet. That's all. Or maybe you haven't helped them in the right way. See, because there's also a right way to plant and a wrong way to plant, right? So that's something that I don't know anything about. Like, I'm not going to say I can't. I've never taken the time or interest to learn how to garden. But I know enough about it that if you don't plant this